Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you saw the video I uploaded yesterday, you'll know that I recently reviewed a set of clothing custom made by Tinela at TINELA'S Customs with the weaponry made by her husband Dave, and it was for Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2, his first real on-screen outing. Obviously Jason appeared briefly in the very first Friday the 13th film. I don't want to spoil it even though it's been long enough, you really should have seen it by now. But yeah, his first proper on-screen to see Jason fully grown was part 2, and he was wearing these clothes here. Now I have done a lot of work to the sack on his head, so I'm gonna reveal that to you in a moment, but it's looking pretty sweet and I'm very proud of it, so let me go ahead and see it now. But let's first come over here and to see this more sort of recognizable version of Jason. You know, in part 3 he finally got his hands on a hockey mask and, you know, the icon was born. But his first on-screen appearance, you know, fully grown, weapon in hand, ready to get revenge for the death of his mother, he looked like this. Oh yeah, there he is, Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 2 with that horrible sinister sack over his head, and it just looks creepy. I love it. As soon as I got this to review from Tinela, I was meant to send it back. That was the plan. She was just sending me this as a nice little treat for me to show you guys something that she'd worked on. Now obviously I'll just show you, Tinela did the sack, she did the rope, the shirt, the dungarees, and her husband Dave did this pickaxe. At least that's what I think. I think a pickaxe is smaller. I don't know what the actual name for this is. I just keep calling it a pickaxe, but the bit pick at the beginning makes it sound really small, and this is really big. So a big axe. But if you watched the video I uploaded yesterday when I initially took this out of the packaging, by the way, something I forgot to show you yesterday was something Tinela always includes as a little sample of all the materials that were used. So you can see there's some of the denim, some of the rope, some of the sack, and some of the shirt. All little samples of the material right there, dated. Lovely little description of what's inside. Always, so far, lovely presentation from Tinela's Customs. I've had the Michael Myers coveralls over there, which I'll show you again in a moment. But yeah, this just, it turned out fantastic. I'm really happy. So yesterday when I reviewed it, the sack on his head looked nothing like this. I'll probably just throw in a little clip now, little photograph, so you can see how different it looked. It didn't have the eye hole. It was basically like a big pillow on his head. So at the time of me reviewing it, I had no intention really of owning this myself. I was going to send it back to Tinela, and she was going to send it, you know, sell it to whoever would want it. But because of the fact that it's, you know, it's such an iconic look, you know, as in it's the first fully grown Jason we ever had on screen, I really do kind of like the sinister thing with the sack over the head. Obviously it was only like that because he wanted to cover his face, because he, you know, he was pretty damn ugly, bless him. But it's just, there's something really creepy about it, and the fact that the eye is showing now. Let me just zoom in. I'll just turn on this light so you can see the eye inside. Look at that. I think his eye's meant to be brown in the, you know, it's actually meant to be brown, but just the head sculpt I had to hand, which is actually kind of a strong likeness to Jake Gyllenhaal. So it's kind of Jake Gyllenhaal, Jason under here, to be honest. But it looks amazing. So I'll just pan back. And let me just turn off this light. Did some weathering, obviously. It was just, you know, straight up clean white, the sack. So I basically just took a paintbrush and some mud and some water, mixed it all together, and just did my usual weathering. I always use real elements. When I'm weathering a horror character, I never use brown paint to do mud. I always actually use real mud. But I didn't go too crazy or too over the top. I didn't want to ruin Tinela's beautiful work here, so I did do a lot of weathering on the shirt. You can see where I got some mud here and there, and definitely did some mud to the axe here, because I saw in the film it was heavily caked in mud, so I did that. His shoes as well, quite muddy, if you can make that out. Yep. So I think I've used the 3-0 body here for the Michael Myers figure, but I think I need to use a slightly taller body, because the dungarees, they can be adjusted. These straps can be made longer, so I need to stop being lazy and stop putting that off and actually do it. Tinela did say to me when I sent her the pictures, she said you should probably lower the dungarees a little bit, So I will do that soon. But the main thing I wanted to show you was the sack over the head and the eyes showing and how cool and creepy it looks. I mean, that's just awesome. It even kind of makes me second guess. I know it's probably just because it's a fresh figure and it's fresh in the collection, but I even kind of like it a little bit more than the hockey mask right now. I don't know. I just think it looks so, no offense, but redneck kind of. I'm coming to get you. It looks awesome. It looks really good from the side. I basically had to, if you remember how it looked originally, I had to pinch the sack and sort of pinch two bits behind here and then just sew them together to create this more rounded look. Now, Tinela did say she was going to send a smaller, more rounded sack for his head for me to use instead. So I'll try that when I get it. I'm sure it's going to be even better than this one. But if I was stuck with this, I really wouldn't mind because I think that just looks awesome. Just turn that brightness down. There you go. I'm super happy with that. So I'll show you some photographs I took as well out in the forest. So he looks pretty cool. But massive thank you to Tinela, and she was quite surprised that I actually wanted to buy these. I shot the review, I uploaded it, and then I looked at it on the shelf and I thought to myself, I'm going to regret this so much if I send this back, because she only made a few of these outfits. I think, can't remember exactly how many she said, maybe 5 or 10. Maybe not even that, but she did say that's the end of it now because she hasn't got this material anymore, so she can't make any more. So I know I would have regretted this. This is one of those situations where I just had to jump on it and say to her, look, is this set for sale that you've sent me to review? And she said, well, yes, I have that, and one other I have like 2 for sale. I was like, I gotta take it. I just gotta get it because, like I said, I know I would regret it if I didn't. Very iconic. Just, if you're a horror collector, if you've got a horror collection, I think having this, now that I've seen it, now that I have it in person, it's so different Jason-wise, but it's the first major on-screen appearance. And part 2, I watched it recently, like I said, and quite enjoyed it. I'll probably bring you a few more updates because I'm not finished with it yet. There's still a little bit of work to do, plus that new sack coming from Tinela, and the big pitchfork, I think, as well. Because her husband Dave hadn't actually made that yet, but it is obviously part of the set and quite an important weapon for this version of Jason to have. He also used a machete, which I think I have. Yes, I do. Well, I've got this one. That one might be a little bit too big. But anyway, either way, just look at him. Absolutely awesome. I'm so happy and so thankful for Tinela for thinking of me to review it, because if I hadn't have reviewed this, I wouldn't have it right now and I wouldn't have thought to get it. So it all worked out in the end. Everything connected. Oh, he's going to fall. There we go. I'm just super chuffed with that. Alright guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you real soon. Thanks again to Tinela and her husband Dave. Amazing work. Can't wait to see more from you. Absolutely knocked it out of the park. And I didn't do too bad myself, if I do say so myself. See you later. Before I forget, I'll just show you both of my figures here that have Tinela's Customs clothing. Now obviously we're talking about Jason here at the moment for the part 2 film. This is the 78 Michael Myers coveralls that Tinela made. Absolutely incredible. They are slightly different from the ones that the guys who ordered the Michael figure from One's Customs are going to be getting. Tinela done the coveralls for all of those as well. But those coveralls are, One's Customs visions of what version of what the color should be. Kind of that charcoalish blue color. But Tinela said that this was her vision of what the color should be. And they are the chameleon coveralls. They do tend to change color depending on where you're shooting them. Take them outside in the sunlight, all of a sudden they're like a bluish charcoal grey color. But indoors, under this, false lighting right now, they're coming across as kind of that, I don't know, spruce green, is that what you call it? A lot of people say you go for that spruce green color and that's the accurate one. I love these. Like I said, they're like the chameleon coveralls. They do change color depending on what's going on. But I love them. They are my favorite 1/6 scale Michael coveralls. Just ridiculously good. The work on the stitching. Just look at that. So clean, so precise. Absolutely awesome. I love the way she did the collar. I love the way she done the little section here on the back, like in the movie. Elastic around the waist, The buttons, her buttons, I'm sorry, but her buttons are way better than, I won't name names, throw people under a bus or anything, but these buttons put other people's buttons to shame. Like, they're tough as hell, they ain't going anywhere. And they're not magnetized, these are actually like on there. And look, see the way the stitching goes up in that direction there, just like the Big Mac coveralls that I've got in the background there. Exactly the same. Just incredible. Absolutely in love with this figure. I tell you, man, if the house caught fire, you see they just went a weird bluish color then. They're the chameleon coveralls, man, they're amazing. Something spooky about them, like they're possessed. Awesome. And now the most recent ones. Custom pieces with mostly TINELA'S Customs items on them. Absolutely awesome. Two absolute icons there. Jason's first proper on-screen outing and Michael's first proper on-screen outing. Two originals, two classics, two icons. Hell yeah. Good work, TINELA and Dave. I forgot Freddy, so I have to get a quick shot of all of them together. Chuck Freddy in there. These glasses, very cool. They actually came with a 1/6 scale NECA Terminator 2 T800. I think it was called the Pescadero Escape version, but it was 1/6 scale. The glasses weren't meant to come off. I did just kind of really pry them off his face, and then actually do a little bit of modification to the arms on the glasses, the bit that go over his ears, because they had extra chunks of plastic attached to them. So I had to remove them. So it's not easy, but if you do want those very same exact glasses, that's where I got them, just in case you're wondering. I'm sure you can find an easier solution. So yeah, you've got the TINELA'S Customs / me, because I think my work on the sack has been pretty significant along with the weathering. So I feel justified in saying it's TINELA'S Customs with like maybe out of 10, 1% me. So like 9% TINELA'S Customs, 1% me for the weathering and adjustment of the sack. And then you've got the TINELA'S Customs coveralls here with a Bruce Banner body. That's a Fergo knife. I'm using the TINELA'S Customs Dave's knife. I'm actually using that with the old Michael Myers from the new 2000 and thingy movie. So, and that is the One's Customs Blackest Eyes version 2 head sculpt. It's not the newest. He's done other versions. There was a version 3 of this, which was smaller, but I think considering there's supposed to be a human head under the mask, this is perfect. And I just love that. He might have a bit of a draft neck thing because I wanted to have his head tilted to the side. So I'll just push that down again. I'm always messing with the hair, trying to get it right. Yeah, let me just get amongst that for a minute so you can just appreciate. Yeah, that's some serious awesomeness right there. That's about as good as it gets. Call it the Great White Shark. Just reminds me of a great white. His blackest eyes, soulless eyes, like a devil. Anyway, there they are all together. Icons of horror. And now I feel bad for not including Chucky.